Hey students, welcome back to Life Science. We're going to do a short lesson on the needs of living things. And as always, I got my COVID Beethoven here with me, and his goggles are on backwards today. He's going to be watching me over here to make sure I teach you properly. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the needs of all living things. These would be some character traits that all living things need. Last time we talked about the 5 different character traits of all living things that make something alive. One was it reproduces. The second, it responds to its environment. The third is that it requires energy. The fourth is that it develops. And the fifth one is that it's made of cells. So we'll talk about cells in our next chapter, but in these next 2 lessons, we're going to talk about different needs and different things that living things must have. So the first thing is they need food. Okay, we talked about food last time and talked about they required energy. So all living things need food. Okay, then we talked about how plants can make their own food, and carnivores and herbivores and omnivores get their food from something that someone else makes. That's called a consumer. We'll talk about consumers in another lecture, in another lesson that we learn together. But they all need food in some form. So whether that food is getting energy from sunlight and converting that into sugar, or whether that is getting some vegetables, or whether that's getting some other meat or protein or carbohydrates, those types of things all living things need. The next thing all living things need is water. They must have water. For something to be alive, it needs water in some fashion. So you might think right away that they need water, like a deer or a cat here drinking water, or this plant needs water to live and do some of the photosynthesis and to survive and to make itself moving. So the idea here is that all living things are going to require water, and water actually helps not only chemical reactions to happen, but biological processes to happen. So I would call those biochemistry. The biochemistry of all living thing is dependent upon water for support, for providing certain level of chemistry for things. So all living things need water. So that's why when scientists send out these Mars probes, or they might send a satellite or out to another planet, and it's looking for water, because water is associated with life. For life to happen, there must be water. So if there's water there, there's thought that there might be life there as well. So living things need energy. Okay, so I want you to think about energy again. We're talking about energy. So food is turns into energy, but living things have to then turn that to move. They need to convert that energy. So when you eat food, that is stored energy called potential energy. So an apple and a banana and a beet and a piece of bread and a carrot and some meat and an egg and a mushroom, a little bit of parsley over here, that has stored energy in it, and the molecules that make up that are broken down by either the digestive system, and in other places they're absorbed, like in a case of a mushroom or a fungus, but they convert that food into energy because they need energy in order to live and to stay alive. So all living things need energy. Okay, so some of these living things may be a smoothie. Okay, they also need sun. So that sunlight for the photosynthesis to happen need energy. Okay, some need maybe a little less water or energy, like a cactus, but they still need energy in order to stay alive and to do the things they need to do in order to be alive. Okay, other things need certain gases. We'll talk about carbon dioxide, which is right here, and oxygen right here. Those are 2 major gases that living things typically need. Now, not all living things need oxygen and carbon dioxide. There are organisms that can survive without oxygen, but they're going to need some level of gas in their around them in order to live. They need gases. Those gases are used to process things. Those gases are used in some respects to protect them, and those gases are needed to make respiration happen. Respiration happen. Okay, and then other living things, they need space. Okay, living things need space, and that could be like clownfish. You got Saving Nemo people. Clownfish here will live in a sea anemone. A bee will build a hive, a bird will build a nest, an insect may bore itself into a piece of wood, a bear may find a little cave here to live in. That they all need space, whether it's very large space in the case of maybe a small bug living in the dirt, or a very large space, say a lion and a pride. The lion will have a certain area that it claims as its own. That could be hundreds of acres that it claims to be its own. So all living things need space. Okay, so these are the things that living things need. They need space, they need gases, they need energy, they need water, and they need food. So those are the things, all the things that living things need. So when I give you a little bit of assignment later about this, we're going to be talking about what would happen as if some of these things were different. If you didn't have enough food, or if you didn't have enough water, or you had too much water, or you might have too much energy and you're not able to convert all of that energy, what might happen? So we'll talk about those when we're in our live class together. So that's it for this time, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.